Busted, of course, another quick turnaround to tomorrow's game. Obviously, more of a positive that it's at home this time, given the amount of miles that you've been putting in on the road recently. But first off, just how are the boys after obviously what was a disappointing result on Saturday?
Yeah, obviously it's just how we react now. Saturday was disappointing for everyone. More so the performance really. We didn't start the game as well as what we would have liked to. And then once the sending off happens, I thought the boys showed a lot of fight. We defended really well. And then maybe towards the end we had a chance to maybe penetrate a little bit more and try and get a goal, but it wasn't to be. But obviously the gaffer's message is always the same. Whatever happens, it's how we react, and it's a bit of a reset for us now. We've had obviously a tough few away games there. We've picked up points. It's not like we've hit a bad run of form or anything like that. We've just had one game where the performance levels weren't up to what they have been previously. So for us, it's just a case of making sure that we learn from it, and it actually turns into being the best thing that happens to us, where it's a real awakening for us, and we have to reset it and go again.
Yeah, and you mentioned there the amount of miles you've been putting in on the road. Obviously, it's been nearly a month since you've had a game at home, so he's looking forward to being back and having a home game, and not having a long journey or an overnight stay or anything on the bus.
Yeah, obviously they've all come at once, the away games, so we're buzzing to be back. I've said it before, but the boys love the supporters. They love playing at the home ground. We love the energy. Our service is really good, which is helpful in how we want to play the game and how we want to move the ball. So we love being at home, and it seems like forever, that Wrexham game. So the boys are buzzing, chomping at the bit to get going, and we know the importance of the game. There's such an importance on every game now, but this is the one that's right in front of us, and we're taking it as the biggest game of our lives, as we always do with every game. So looking forward to it, and we just want to turn up with that energy and that intensity, and seeing from the fans, really, they haven't had a game for a long time, so we want them to turn up with that energy and that intensity and get really behind us and make it a best atmosphere we possibly can to kind of help the boys out and give us as much help as we definitely need it.
Yeah, and with the sort of season getting into the final third, the back end a bit now, obviously as weeks go by, supporters start to check the league table a bit more. Obviously, you've said before, you've always been someone who's not really focused on that too much and try to sort of stay away from it. Are you still at that point where you're not really looking at the league table as we're coming into the end of the season?
Yeah, to be fair, now with social media and stuff like that, you don't really need to look at it to get an understanding of where we are and who's around us. And obviously you look at other people's results, and I always have a look at the results and stuff, but for me it doesn't change anything. I think I've said it to you before, whether you're top of the league, you're bottom of the league, you still want to win the next game. So I definitely don't get fixed on looking at the league table. I understand what we need to do to survive in this league and the points tally that we need to get to. And as I say, if I start looking in the future and looking at future points and future games, then I miss what's happening right in front of me now, and I can't do that, because if I start missing what's right in front of us now, then we're going to come unstuck and we're going to lose games because we're looking at other games ahead. So all we can do is focus. When we came in this morning, the focus was on getting the detail in the boys for tomorrow, doing that as best we possibly can, and then tomorrow we attack the game, as I said, like it's the last game we're ever going to play in our lives, and that's the mentality that it's got to be for every game.
Yeah, and with Oldham tomorrow, it'll be the second time, of course, that you've played them in the space of a week. I mean, does that, I don't know, add any extra sort of thought processes going into it when you played against them quite recently? So I suppose there's not as much work you'll be doing in terms of familiarising yourself with them, because you've played them so recently that you've kind of got an idea of how they've been playing and things like that already a little bit.
Yeah, obviously you have the same over Christmas when you play the same team sort of back to back. We still look at how they've performed on Saturday. We'll change our game plan a little bit because of what happened last Tuesday when we played against them. A few things that we came across, a few problems, a few challenges that we might want to try and face on a little bit different tomorrow night, and that affects our game plan and changes maybe a few little adjustments that we want to do. So it affects it with that, but in terms of just moving away from all that, it's just about getting into the boys, the full club, the supporters, that this is just a huge cup final, that we have to go at it with everything that we've got, and we know what Oldham are about because we played them last week, but it's all about us, it's all about our process, and really focusing on ourselves and making sure that we turn up with that ultimate belief that we're going to get 3 points.
Yeah, and on the squad front, of course, a couple of suspensions tomorrow. Obviously, Carl Magny will be serving the last game of his, so he'll be back and around the place by the weekend. But injuries as well. I mean, you've probably been hit again, as it's been in sort of periods this season where lads are all sort of dropping out at the same time, and it's been a bit unlucky and unfortunate really for a lot of them. But how are things looking ahead of tomorrow in terms of who's going to be available for us?
Yeah, listen, we're suffering numbers wise. There's no getting away from it. There's no point in me coming on here and lying about that. Obviously, we had it at the start of the season where we got a big group of players injured, which really affected us. I actually thought that it couldn't happen again, be that unlucky, because the injuries that we're picking up are nothing to do with training or anything like that. It's contact or it's a movement that the player's done, but we've got to face this now, and we'll stick together as best we possibly can. The players that we've got available are more than capable of going out there and getting 3 points. So it's making sure that we really focus on what we have got and not looking at more so what we're missing. But obviously Kevin's not back yet. He had another setback last week, so we're not sure on him at the moment. We're hoping it's just going to be a short term, and he's going to be back soon. And then you've got the long termers now, where Knightley joins that list as well. So Knightley, Forbesy and Beals are more long term. But as I say, as a club, we've been through so many challenges over the last sort of 5-6 year, that we always overcome them, and that's the mentality that Mike drills into us every time. It's just another challenge that we need to pull together. We need to work harder, and we'll come out the other side of it better people and better on the pitch as well. So that's all we're focusing on, just making sure that we stick together and we really work even harder to make sure that this doesn't affect us.